What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Everyday Tech with Stan JB, and I am back with another one. Now today, I'm going to revisit a laptop that I talked about a couple of months ago, and that is the Lenovo Yoga 7i, 14-inch base model. The name's kind of long, so let's just stick to the Lenovo Yoga 7i, alright? Now, if you remember my previous video, I talked about how much of a great companion this was, especially during the pandemic and people going back to school. Well, it's now 2022, almost a full year after that laptop dropped, and we can expect to see this year's version dropping. So before that happens, I wanted to talk about this computer one last time and see how it holds up in 2022. All right, so let's jump into this. First off, we are going to talk about the specifications. That's right, the meat and potatoes of any laptop you're buying, the specs. Now, the 14-inch base model Yoga comes equipped with the 11th gen Intel i5 processor. Now, that's more of that upper mid-range processor for anybody wondering, which can handle a good amount of tasks. But you also get the Iris X graphics, 12 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and half a terabyte, that's 512 gigs of SSD storage. Now, some of the other features you might find on this is a Thunderbolt 4 USB-C port. Actually, there's two of them, both of which you can charge from, a standard USB-A, and a 14-inch Full HD IPS screen. Now, it's nothing crazy. There's no OLEDs, no AMOLEDs, no 4K screens on this bad boy. To get those features, you want to jump up to the 9i series, which is their flagship model. But for something like this that costs about $950 when not on sale, you get yourself a great everyday computer. And in 2022, it still holds true. I have been using this basically every day. This is my work device. This is something that I constantly find myself using. And just like I said in the first video, it does the job. Now, judging from 2022 standards, we gotta admit, some things just aren't up to snuff as to what you can find today. For one, there's no high refresh rate on that 14-inch screen. Two, it's not the brightest. It comes in at about 350 nits. Three, you're not going to find yourself with an OLED panel where it has the deepest blacks or the whitest whites or any of that in the more current flagship laptops. And four, you still have a traditional 16:9 aspect ratio. Now, what that means is you're not going to have as much columns. Let's put it that way. You're not going to have as much columns or rows on your screen as you would some of the newer computers coming out. But that doesn't really make for a bad experience. Yes, it's not the latest and greatest that you're seeing today, but I got to say this computer has still held up. One of my favorite aspects of this computer has held up is still the battery life. Now, I may not use this computer for a super heavy task, but for my everyday workflow, looking up stuff, watching anime on Funimation.com or even some Netflix shows, it lasts a surprisingly long amount of time. And even better so than when I'm using it, I get some great standby time. Meaning I sometimes forget to charge this computer for a couple of days, and by the time I turn it on, I might have about 35% juice still left. So that's really, really good, especially for a year-old computer. Now, I do this because a year is still very young in computer terms. Another great aspect of this, I have to say, is actually the sound. Now, it's nothing crazy. It's not going to be as high-end as, let's say, the 9i or the MacBook Pros, but it gets plenty loud. It's not too bass-heavy, but you do get some decent highs and lows. Once again, not the best sound, but because of the design, it's actually facing you. So when you are watching shows, you do get the sound blasted in your face instead of shooting at the bottom. Hey, gotta take a win where you can. So once again, not the best sound, but it's front-facing, it's pretty decent, and it's actually kind of loud. I find myself having to change the sound down to like maybe halfway often, especially if I'm watching something when I'm on break in a public setting. Now, this computer originally launched with Windows 10 Home, but now you'll notice it's either going to be upgraded to Windows 11, or if you buy a brand new one, will ship with Windows 11. And I gotta say, it handles it pretty well. I'm guessing that extra bit of RAM does wonders. My personal view on Windows 11 is pretty straightforward. I do like it, but I'm not going to get too deep into that now. Maybe I'll make a separate video, maybe not. We'll see how time goes. But the way Windows 11 is ran on this Lenovo Yoga 7i, hey, it's great. It functions, and the touchscreen capabilities, it works very well. I haven't noticed any slowdowns. I haven't noticed any bugs besides the typical Windows 11 bugs that are all being worked out pretty consistently. So, if you're worried about how this device is going to run using newer software, don't worry about it. Lenovo kind of knocked it out of the park with that one. I will say, the screen could be a little brighter. I don't think most laptops should be below 400 nits, but I also like a super bright screen. But with that being said, I haven't had too much issues in direct sunlight. Sometimes I find myself at Starbucks or Panera Bread outside doing a little emailing or maybe getting some work calls done. But I can see it. There is room for improvement, especially with the brightness you're seeing on some of these newer computers. But it's not going to be terrible. It's not going to be an awful experience. It's very much manageable. But for some reason, I don't get how like laptops, they hit like 400, 500 nits, but then you look at a cell phone and that thing hits like, what, the Samsung S22 is at 1700 or some craziness? I'm hoping soon we can see those numbers on laptops, but I get it. That is a big power drain. Another aspect I wish was improved is the high refresh rate. I get it, it's not their flagship model. It's also last year's model where high refresh rates on laptops was still not really a thing. And even today, still not a thing, at least on the base model devices. You see it more on the higher end flagships, but not quite the models that are in this level. That's something I think should be improved in the future. I don't think there should be a laptop that's not at least 90 hertz. 120 would be ideal. If it's not a gaming laptop, we really don't need to go above 120. Hell, 120 might be a bit too much, but you know what? I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And all that saying, whatever. But all in all, this computer really holds up well. With battery life, its reliability, its build, it's been fantastic. I've even done some presentations with it and only connecting it using a USB-C to HDMI and had no issues. I think if you are somebody who may not have the budget for a brand new 2022 laptop, but you want something that's still very current, very reliable, and extremely lightweight, this guy goes at under like, I think it's 2.5 or 2.9 pounds. Very light. I love it. This is a great option, especially because, you know, the closer we get to the new models coming out, the less you can find this, you know, price-wise, and the more deals you should be able to find, especially if you shop at Best Buy, which is probably the only place you can get this. You can always expect to find a good discount on a computer that's still going to last you a lot of time. I will say this, when it comes to school and work, it's been fantastic. But I even surprised myself with how well it works if I'm doing some light video editing or light photo. I guess it surprised me. It was able to handle 1080p video editing. Nothing too crazy, nothing too drastic, not a lot of After Effects, but more basic, you know, let's say LumaFusion level video editing with no problem, no hiccup. The fan turned on a little bit, but even so, it's a very silent fan. I really haven't heard this fan kick into high gear. So, still, just to kind of revisit this laptop, I 100% approve of you still getting this if you don't have that budget for a 2022 device, or maybe you don't want the latest and greatest just yet. You want to kind of just hold off and hang back a little bit. I love it. It still has been fantastic. It's been super reliable. It's been very durable. I've had this for a year and I don't have a case or anything. I throw it in my book bag. There's no real scuffs, scratches, dents, or anything of that nature. So nothing but good things to say about it. Do I think the battery life could be improved? Maybe, you know, you get your typical 10 to 12, but with the new MacBook Airs and Pros having such crazy battery, I can expect the next version to have much better battery life. At least that's what I hope for. Especially with these new 12th gen Intel chips coming out, I can only expect good things out of it. Can I expect the screen to be brighter? Hell, we might see that in the next version. Who knows? I don't really have much information on that yet, but when I get my hands on one, you know I'm going to let you guys know what it is. But yeah, I mean, 400 nits, 350 to 400 nits, not the best brightness, but still very manageable. Is it super powerful? It's not the most powerful device, okay? It's an i5, it's 12 gigs of RAM. It's not designed to be the most powerful. If you want the most powerful, you gotta jump up to the 9i series. But for the price range this is at, you can get a lot of work done. This is MacBook Air level, in my opinion. I know you Apple fanboys are gonna come get me saying, no, it doesn't match the M1 MacBook Air. No, shut up. All right, it's a great laptop. Intel and Apple can both be good. I think I said it on my last video. Stop thinking because one has something good, the other one can't be good neither. Especially with the 11th gen chip, Intel was stepping it up, and we're gonna see that even more so on the new ones. So that's just my quick revisit of this. I kind of wanted to give it a last call before I, get me a new one because you know me, I got to get the new Lenovo's when they drop. I like it, really happy with it. I think if you're looking for something reliable and a little bit more affordable than what's coming out right now, still a great option. If you're looking for laptops, you're looking for something for school, if you're looking for something for work, if you're a real estate agent or anything of that nature, hey, check it out. It's super portable, super lightweight, super reliable. And once again, I'm being as honest as possible. I know that in ways my job is affiliated with Lenovo, but they don't even know I do these reviews. And I honestly bought me a Lenovo laptop to give you an idea of how I feel about the company. So don't take this as me just advertising something because I get any benefit. I get nothing for doing these videos. It's just a good all-arounder. My main thing with a laptop is I need to be reliable. I need that fast charger this has because I forget to charge stuff. I need that instant wake that this has because I'm impatient. I need the lightweightness that you get with this. And even though it's super lightweight, it's still super durable. I don't know how many times I've done this 2-in-1 thing where I flip it over. And as you can see, I didn't use this in like 4 days and it still has juice in it. But as you can see, it's just a great computer. Super fast, super snappy, super reliable. Go get you one. All right, I'm heading out this John. So once again, thank you for letting me rant about tech, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.